Welcome back, children. Today I am going to take a lecture on phylum Porifera. I have already told you about Porifera in my first 3 lectures when I was giving a comparative account of the various types of non-chordates. जब हम सारे non-chordates को comparatively पढ़ा रहे थे, I had almost given you all the points of Porifera. Now in this lecture we are going to go into those points in details, and if at all some point has been left, we are going to deal it right now. First we will come to habitat. We know that in Porifera they are mostly marine. All of them are aquatic and mostly they are marine. Very few of them they are found in fresh water, one of them being Spongilla. So Spongilla is a very important example for your medical exam. Why? Because this is an exception, because mostly Poriferans are marine. Next it is written they are solitary or colonial. Solitary means they may be found singly. Solitary means singly, or they may be found in colonies, as you can see here. Many of them are found together, so they may also be found in colonies. The third interesting point is they are sessile, attached to the substratum. Now we know that Porifera is an animal. An animal का characteristic क्या होता है? The animals are meant to be motile, right? Animals are meant to be motile. It is an exception. It is a being an animal. Imagine it is non-motile. It is sessile. Yes, they are an exception. They are attached to the substratum. And they cannot move from one place to another. Now once we have done the habitat, the next topic we are going to deal is the symmetry. I told you earlier itself that in Porifera they are either asymmetrical or radially symmetrical. That means asymmetrical means any plane passing through the center will not divide it into 2 equal halves, and radial symmetrical means any plane passing through the center will divide it into 2 equal halves. Right? So these are the 2 types of symmetry that is found there. Now next we will come to germ layers. We know that in Porifera these are the first animal, and the cells they are basically arranged in 2 layers. The outer layer is called as ectoderm, you can see over here, which I have shown here in the blue color, and the inner layer, this is called as endoderm, which is shown in yellow color over here. And this part is not the gut, the center part is called as spongiocele. I'll tell you about it later, right? This is called as spongiocele. And the space between the two, which is shown in green color over here, it is semi-fluid like, and this is called as mesoglia, right? This middle layer, this is a jelly-like, and it is called as mesoglia. Regarding this, I'll just show the spelling once again. It is spongiocele, right? So this is about the body layer. Now next we will go about is the level of organization. We know that in Porifera the level of organization is cellular. Cellular means yes, it is made up of a lot of cells, but the cells are not working in coordination. Each one of them is working independent of the other. Such a level of organization is called as cellular level of organization. Once we have done the basics about them, let us try to find their structure in detail. You know why Poriferans are called as Poriferans? Because they are characterized by presence of numerous pores on the body. Since they have a lot of pores, so we call them as Porifera. Pori means pore and fera means bearing. These are pore bearing animals, so we call them as Porifera. Pori means pore and fera means bearing. Since they bear a lot of pores, we call them as Poriferans. Now let us study about the pores. The body is characterized by the presence of numerous small pores. These small pores are called as ostia. Now all these ostia, they brings water inside the body, and then there is a common cavity under me. Common cavity here, I'll show you that. That cavity is called as spongiocele. Cele means cavity, and it says this cavity is found in sponges. We call it as spongiocele. And once the water gathers into the spongiocele, it is released to the outside by a big opening, and this big opening is called as osculum. I will show you these diagrams, these points. See, it has got numerous ostia. Water enters through the ostia and it actually moves out through these bigger apertures called as osculum. So the body has many small pores called as ostia, and which are incurrent. That means they take water inside, and very few. The ostia are more numerous in number, जबकि ये जो बड़ा वाला osculum है, this is fewer in number, and this is excurrent. That means through which the water moves actually to the outside. Now if we go to the internal structure, we see that this ostia and osculum are basically connected to each other. How? See, this is the ostia and this is the central cavity which we call as spongiocele, I told you, and this is the osculum through which the water will actually move outside. Now this ostia is connected to the spongiocele by canals. These are water canals. You can see this is the ostia, this is spongiocele, this is the ostia, spongiocele, and they are connected by these canals. These water canals, they are actually very much characteristic of phylum Porifera only. See, and through this, when the what happens, as I told you, ostia is incurrent, पानी यहाँ से enter करेगा, it will then come to spongiocele, and then through osculum, the water will leak to the outside. So this is how the body looks like. Let us see once again. The body is actually, differently shaped. It may be either solitary or in colonies. They are sessile, attached to the substratum. And when we see them, they are characterized by presence of many pores. The pores open into the central cavity called as spongiocele through various canals, and this water then leaves to the outside through a big aperture called as osculum. Okay? Now, internal structure, if we look at it in detail, as I told you, internally when we cut the section, under say, how does it show? I told you it is divided into two layers. The outer layer is called as ectoderm. This is also called as pinacoderm because these cells are also called as pinacocytes, right? Then the internal layer, this is known as the endoderm. You can see here the internal layer is called as endoderm, and this endoderm is basically characterized by presence of a special type of cells. You will see this. You will see here they are characterized by presence of a special type of cells. These endoderm is formed by these special types of cells. These are called as schwannocytes. See, these are called as schwannocytes. Now I will tell you what is the significance of this schwannocytes. For this, you must try to understand one small thing. See, I told you that poriferans are basically sessile. That means they are attached to the substratum. Samudra mein paye jate hain. They are found in the oceans normally, and they are attached to the substratum. Now what happens? They have numerous pores on the body. These pores, they draw in water inside the body. Through this pore, water enters. As the water enters, it will bring in oxygen and food, and as this water will leave through the osculum, it will take out the waste and the carbon dioxide. Now, this, since it is found at the bottom of the ocean, samudra ke niche hai and sessile hai, right? So obviously the body will get filled with water. But how to make a continuous movement of the water? Pani ghusta hai. There is a need for constant entry of water because it is the water which is bringing the oxygen and the food, and it needs to be also thrown outside so that the waste can be removed and the fresh water with fresh food can enter. But it is sessile, and that too it is formed at the floor of the ocean. You know that in ocean floor it is quite static. There are no waves. Waves normally top layer of the ocean में होते हैं. एक तो ocean के नीचे में where the water is static. So obviously once the water fills inside this spongiocele, it will tend to remain there. So what we did, we lined this cavity by a special type of cell called as schwannocytes. It is also called as collared cell because it has a typical collar like structure, so we call it, and these are flagellated. Now since this flagella, now see, this flagella is like this. Now movement of this flagella creates a water current, will create a water current so that water constantly moves outside and has a tendency to come inside. Not only this, ये जो water canals है ना, these water canals are also basically lined by these schwannocytes, so that even through this they are also lined like this with their flagella, so that the water, this section are actually enlarged over here. ये जो आपका यहाँ से यहाँ तक का section है ना, this has been enlarged over here. So now you can see that the schwannocytes are very typical only to poriferans since they are sessile, and it has a vital role in maintaining or ensuring that there is a continuous flow of water inside and outside the body of the sponges, right? In between the two. Now look at this. In between the two means, I told you, the outer layer is ectoderm, right? See, the outer layer is ectoderm and this is your endoderm made up of schwannocyte. In between the two you can see the yellow colored layer. This is called as mesoglia. Mesoglia does not have any cell of its own. Rather, ये जो बाहर वाला जो cell है ना, pinacocytes, I told you pinacoderm. Some of these cells, they detach and they become amoeboid in nature, and they just float in the mesoglia. And you know what is the function of these amoeboid cells? I will just first rub this little bit and then I can show you what is the function of these amoeboid cells. It is to one, it is phagocytosis. So when food enters now, these amoeboid cells, they come here at the corner and they engulf the food. And secondly, they just being amoeboid, so they have pseudopodia, उनमें pseudopodia है, जिसकी वजह से they are constantly moving between ectoderm and endoderm. कभी ऐसे एंडोडर्म पास चला जाता है, कभी एक्टोडर्म के पास चला जाता है, thus helping maintain a communication between the two. So once again, if we go through an internal structure of a porifera, we find that the cells are arranged in two layers, the ectoderm and the endoderm. The ectoderm is also called as pinacoderm because the cells are pinacocytes, and the endoderm is lined by a special type of collared cells called as squamoscytes, which are flagellated, which help in maintaining a current between the outside and the inside body of the porifera. The space between the ectoderm and the endoderm is jelly-like, that's called mesoglia. It is non-cellular. Rather, some of the ectodermal cells, they become amoeboid and they float over here, thus helping our managing a communication between the two layers. Right? So now that we have done the internal structure, I want to tell you one more thing. Just another diagram. This is just showing that this is the ectoderm, endoderm. The central space is called as the spongiocele, and this spongiocele is connected to the outside by osculum. What happens? The water flows inside the spongiocele. Where the water comes in, it brings in what? It brings in food and oxygen, and when the water moves out of it, it carries away the carbon dioxide and the waste. One more thing about the structure that is very important. I'll just show you first few figures and then I will talk about the exoskeleton, that is the spicules. So just see some of the diagrams. See how they look. They are pores, and then this is the osculum. How these cranocyte cells, they line the internal. Just few diagrams for you. Now we know that in non-chordates there is no skeleton as such, but if at all it is an exoskeleton, and in porifera the exoskeleton is made up of either spongine fibers or it is made up of spicules. If it is made up of spicule, either they are made up of silica, and you can very well see over here that these spicules are variously shaped, or they are made up of calcium carbonate, again they are variously shaped, or they may be a mesh-like structure, then we call them as spongine fibers. So they have an exoskeleton. The exoskeleton is made up of either spicules, which can be siliceous or calcareous, variously shaped, or it can be made up of spongine fibers. Right? So with that, the structure of a typical porifera has come to an end. Right? So let us once again revise the structure of a porifera before we go into the major systems of the porifera. So the structure says that poriferans, they are variously shaped, they are attached to the substratum, the body has numerous pores, through ostia water comes to canals, then it lands up into spongiocele, it moves out to the osculum, the body has outer ectoderm, inner endoderm, endoderm has squamoscytes, and externally it has lined by a lot of spicules. You can see here, this is the spicules once again showing. These spicules, they give it protection, additional protection to stay under such adverse condition that is in deep oceans. So this is again showing the arrangement of the spicules. Now let us go to the various systems. The first system is your digestive system. I told you they are cellular. Each cell does its own digestion. So there is no digestive system, and digestion is basically intracellular. Let us look at what is an intracellular digestion. Say this is your ostia. The food has come inside. These amoeboid cells, they will engulf the food. Within the cell, the food will be digested. Once the food is digested, the undigested food will be given out, and through osculum, the food will actually move to the outside. The food is taken into the individual cells, and it is these cells which actually do the digestion. There is no as such digestive system, so the system is absent, and the digestion is said to be intracellular. Now we know that other than that, they even do not have a respiratory system. The exchange takes place to the body surface. In fact, they do not even have a circulatory system because the water circulates everything throughout the body. Then the nervous system is also absent. Why? Because there is no need of any coordination between the cells. All the cells, they do their own work. Since there is no coordination required, so the nervous system is also absent in these organisms. Now we come to the reproduction. In porifera, since they are the primitive animals, asexual reproduction also takes place. One of the common asexual reproduction is fragmentation. Aapke NCERT mein they have mentioned only fragmentation. Fragmentation is a process by which, since they are cellular, the body is broken into a lot of fragments, and each fragment generates into a new organism. Another asexual structure is internal buds, also called as gemmules. Now this is not given in your 11 NCERT, but it is given in your 12th syllabus, and this is the diagram from your 12 NCERT only. Now what are these gemmules? Look at this. These are some special, such rounded structures. These are bud-like structures that are found inside the porifera. है ना, ये porifera के अंदर बनते हैं buds. So we call them as internal buds. I am just showing you an enlarged diagram of an internal bud. You can find here that there is a pot-like structure, and this is filled up with numerous cells, right? These cells are called as archaeocytes. Archaeocytes means, archae means very old. Take, you can see they are called as archaeocytes. Archae means very old. Since these are the most primitive animals, and most primitive animal ka most primitive cell which is going to do asexual reproduction. So archae, primitive, and cyte means cells. Then this has an opening called as micropyle. Okay, this opening is called as micropyle, and on the externally it is being covered here, and it is protected by a lot of spicules. Now being these cells are totipotent cells. Totipotent means they can make the entire organism. Under favorable, not unfair, what happens once the buds are formed, these buds are released to the outside through the osculum. And because they are so well protected, they can survive adverse conditions. It remains very well protected under adverse condition. When favorable condition will come, then these archaeocytes, they will move out of the micropyle. They will move out from the micropyle, and each archaeocyte will give rise to an adult sponge. So these are internal buds or gemmules. They have a special cell called as archaeocyte, and they are coated on the outside either by spongin fibers or spicules. This helps them survive drought, freezing, etc. That means they can survive very unfavorable situations as well. Right? So let us, I'll just show you another diagram of the gemmule. You can see how the internal body has a lot of gemmule. Just showing it diagrammatically. As I told you, these gemmules are internal buds, and this is the typical structure of a gemmule. They come out through the micropyle, and just saying it is the same thing written, just I am trying to show how the gemmules are found within the body. Once you have done the asexual reproduction, now we will move to the sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, what happens is, first I will tell you that sponges are hermaphrodite. Now what is hermaphrodite? You know it well. Hermaphrodite are bisexual organisms. That means if I look at this sponge or the porifera, what happens? Both the male gamete and the female gametes are formed within the same body. So they are called as hermaphrodite, also called as bisexual, also called as monoecious. इसी के लिए word use होता है आपका monoecious. I have already told you all these things in my comparative class, right? Now say this is your male gamete, that is the sperm, and this is the female gamete, that is the egg. Now how will the sperm reach the egg? So when the water enters into their body, right, when the water enters the body, water travels the male sperm to so sexual reproduction is carried by releasing the sperm in the current. Fertilization is internal, अंदर में ये fertilize करता है, fertilization के बाद it forms zygote. ठीक है? So say, let us assume this is the fertilized structure called as zygote. This zygote will now come outside. ठीक है? Now this zygote, let me also draw it here. This zygote will move to the outside, and then it will form a larva called as either amphiblastula larva or it forms a parenchyma larva. I told you that in them the development is indirect, right? That means the zygote does not form the adult directly. It forms an intermediate stage called as larva. The larva in case of porifera is named amphiblastula or parenchyma. This larva will now attach to the substratum and gradually develop to form an adult porifera. Fertilization is internal, right? Development includes ciliated, free swimming larva. The larva is, ciliated. You can see here, free swimming. Now this will settle at the bottom, and the name of the is either parenchyma or amphiblastula. Then later, this larva, it is initially free living, but later it settles and it develops into a sessile adult. Right? So with that, the reproduction is complete. Now we will go for some important examples. I'll tell you in medical from this chapter, examples are very, very important. You will learn the examples at the end of the topic and also through the diagrams. Now there are three examples you need to know. A is your cycon. The common name of cycon is Saifa. right? It is also called as Cypha. Now B is your Euspongia, also called as the bath sponge. And the third one, C, is your Spongilla, which is the freshwater sponge. I told you most of them are marine except Spongilla. Now that we have done it, we will have a quick look at the NCERT. Please open, I think this is page 47 or 48 of your NCERT, and here you can see the topic Porifera. Now whatever I have taught you, will see it. Members are commonly called sponges. They are asymmetrical. They have cellular level of organization. Then they have a canal system. Water enters through ostia. Then there is a spongiocele. Then there is osculum. This helps in gathering the food, respiratory, removal of waste. They have a special cell called as squamoscytes. The body has spicules or spongine fibers. Sexes are not separate, hermaphrodite. Eggs and sperms are produced by the same individual. They reproduce asexually by fragmentation, sexually by formation of gametes. Fertilization is internal. Indirect, the name of the larva is not given here, okay, but the larva is different from the adult. How? Because the larva is free swimming and ciliated, while the adult is sessile. Then these are the three diagrams, and these are the examples at page 50. So that was page 49. Cyclone, also known as Cypha, Spongilla freshwater sponge, and Euspongia bath sponge. You know that this Sunday we had the NEET 2020 exam. Every question was asked from NCERT, so please make sure that you read the NCERT very thoroughly. With that, we have come to an end to the topic Porifera. In my next lecture, I am going to deal with cylindrates. Till then, goodbye and good luck.